in the air as large dam reservoirs such as Guarara, Kashimbila, Dadinkoa, Tiga, Shagari, Ikene George, and others have been identified for aquaculture expansions. This is to help aqua farmers and fishing communities improve their socio-economic conditions and quality of life. Welcome to Nimasa this week, where it's all about the maritime world. I remain your anchor, Moyoluwa Olutayo. Come sail with us.
Any vessel operating coastal voyage in Nigeria must mandatorily have on board the following: vessel logbook, vessel port of call, vessel particulars, which include registry certificates, safety equipment certificates such as safe manning certificates, builder's certificates, load line certificates, tonnage certificates, radio certificate, insurance certificates, classification certificates, passenger ship safety certificate, service certificate, cargo ship certificate, and waiver certificates or receipts. Vessel owners, captains, shipping agents, and members of the public are advised to note and comply.
We kickstart the program today by rolling out a praise drum for the presidency. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is poised to unlock the full potential of our blue economy. In line with the Renew Hope agenda for economic diversification, food security, and job creation, the federal government is set to upscale fish production, leveraging Nigeria's vast water resources. To align with the federal government initiative, the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, and the Honorable Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Engineer Professor Joseph Usev, engaged in a strategic meeting at the conference room of the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation in Abuja, where both ministers pledged to prioritize and synergize their effort. This strategic collaboration is aimed at strengthening Nigeria's agricultural sector. Stay tuned.
As part of efforts to promote the Blue Economy Initiative in Nigeria, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's federal government has expressed determination to boost fish production with the aim of enhancing food security. This initiative coincides with the diversification agenda of the federal government to grow the economy and, by extension, promote job creation in the country. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, and his water resource counterpart, Engineer Professor Joseph Usev, during a stakeholders meeting, made this known. Accordingly, the goal is to reduce fish imports and promote the blue economy by expanding aquaculture in large dam reservoirs across the country, including Guarara, Kashimbila, and others.
Nigeria's water bodies offer significant potential for fishery sector, food security, and economic empowerment. However, these potentials remain largely untapped. Honorable Minister, this initiative represents a transformative step towards achieving national food security, economic diversification, and sustainable aquaculture development. The Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is fully committed to collaborating closely with your ministry to ensure the success implementation of this particular project.
The government plans to replicate the Oya Dam cage culture model nationwide and has proposed forming a joint technical working group for feasibility studies and project planning. These efforts align with the vision of increasing food production, creating jobs, and empowering rural economies. The initiative aims to bridge the gap between Nigeria's fish demand and local production while reducing reliance on imports.
In light of the approved memorandum, I propose we proceed to the next phase, focusing on feasibility studies, defining technical requirements, and initiating project planning. To facilitate this, I recommend that we constitute a joint technical working group. This committee will define the specific terms of reference and report back to our two ministries.
There is where one of the dams you just mentioned is being operated and managed. That is the Ogun River Basin Development Authority. We have 12 of them in the country, where that is just one of them. And the mandate of these river basins is in line with the collaborations we are discussing today. So, Your Excellency, we want to assure you that you are in the innermost part of your home. And what we have requested, which is collaboration in terms of fish production, we have more than fish production. And when time goes on, we will convey to you.
Still on the program, Nimasa this week. The Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Taiwo Mobiriola, met with the Merchant Navy and senior staff of Water Transport Association of Nigeria. Take a listen.
The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, Dr. Taiwo Mobiriola, has given the assurance that the agency, under the leadership of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, led by Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, is passionate about ensuring a level playing field in the maritime sector, whilst creating an enabling environment for players in the Nigerian maritime sector to thrive. The Director General, who played host to the executives of the Nigerian Merchant Navy Officers and Water Transport Senior Staff Association, led by Comrade John Aleku Opono, stated that government all over the world are not in the business of doing business, but to ensure to create an enabling environment for business to thrive.
The government all over the world are not in the business of business. We shouldn't be part of creating a business. We should be creating enabling environment for business to thrive. So what we are trying to do in this case, and I can tell you and I can assure you that the Honorable Minister is speaking to this day in, day out, morning, afternoon, and night, is to create enabling environment for Nigeria to have what we call national flags. National flags mean that you can have your shipping companies to come and trade in Nigeria, owned by Nigerians.
On the issue of national carrier, he assured the Merchant Navy officers that the agency had been talking to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, in order to help in the development of a national flag carrier in the Nigerian maritime sector.
You made mention of one important point earlier on, which is cargo. That for them to be able to even lease or buy vessels, the cargo must be there. And that is what we are trying to do. We are talking to NNPC, we are talking to the local content development commission as well, in order to ensure that a certain percentage of cargo is reserved for Nigerian national vessels, national flags. This thing takes time, but they are all willing and supportive. But it's not until we get the MOU signed that we come publicly, but be rest assured that we are working towards it.
On his part, the Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, assured the Merchant Navy officers that the agency is committed to supporting them while also ensuring to find ways to address their concerns, particularly on the issue of granting waivers where necessary. He gave the assurance that the agency is looking into these areas to ensure they are resolved in order to help the sector to thrive. Speaking on enforcement, he assured that the agency has competent officers who goes on board the vessels to inspect requisite documents. All concerns regarding the enforcement will be thoroughly looked into, Mr. Jibril stated.
Granting of waivers. This is an issue that has been coming up consistently. Perhaps I would have to refer that to the people that are dealing directly with the the waiver and then the replacement process.
You are also an enforcement officer for the maritime sector. And since we are regulators, you bring those issues to us because when they know we're coming, they know what to hide. But you have your staff and your association members in the shipping companies. They know what is going on. If they are being maltreated, they tell you, you tell us. They're all supposed to work together to advance the maritime sector.
Earlier in his remarks, he appealed for more collaboration between the agency and the Merchant Navy, while he also called on the agency to look into the issue of waiver clauses in order to benefit the lots of the Nigerian seafarers.
While we are not against the waiver clause as it is stated or stipulated in the Act, we are looking at the possibility of looking at that understudy. Our concern is to understudy.
On behalf of the DG, we appreciate you for coming, and we thank you very much for finding time to come and discuss with us. And we are looking forward to see friendly discussion like this in future, so that everybody, all the gap will be closed, and everybody will be happy. Thank you for coming, and we wish you safe trip back to your destination. Thank you.
I am Captain Sondo Moren.
My name is Emmanuel Maigua.
I am Dr. Odunayo Ani.
Hello everyone, my name is Vivian Chimezie.
Western Nigeria President.
CEO of BRICS Master Matani and President of Mano.
And I'm the Director General at the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping.
You're watching Nimasa this week.
You're watching Nimasa this week.
The voice of the maritime.
The voice of the maritime industry.
Keep watching.
Keep watching Nimasa this week.
Keep watching us.
Nimasa this week. The voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
Welcome back, and for those who are just joining us, is Nimasa this week. The Internal Audit Unit of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, recently had their Internal Audit Retreat 2024, themed Sailing Towards Excellence, one audit at a time. The retreat held from February 7th to February 9th, and it brought together members of the internal audit team. And issues on the front burner for participants were commitment to accountability, transparency, and operational efficiency. A key highlight at the retreat was the opening remarks by the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Dayo Mobirola, who stated that internal auditors are his gatekeepers and charged them to be professional and improve compliance within the agency. Stay tuned.
The Internal Audit Unit of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, held its annual retreat for the year 2024 in Lagos with the theme, Sailing Towards Excellence, one audit at a time.
Welcome to this 3-day retreat, a gathering designed to strengthen our bonds, sharpen our skills, and elevate our collective impact. It is a privilege to stand before you today as the head of internal audit of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, and to welcome you all to what promises to be an insightful and transformative experience.
The focus of the retreat was fostering growth, collaboration, and transformation, while also reinforcing the agency's commitment to accountability, transparency, and operational efficiency.
At Nimasa, we are entrusted with a critical responsibility of ensuring transparency, accountability, efficiency in the administration of our nation's maritime sector.
At the event, the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Taiwo Moberiola, in his opening remarks, emphasized the role of internal auditors as gatekeepers and urged them to maintain professionalism and improve compliance.
Let me start by saying good morning to all the internal audit team and by extension, a group that I call my gatekeeper. You are the bridge between ensuring we do the right things. Improve assurance and advisory role. Beyond identifying risk and control weaknesses, you must also provide strategic insights that enable management to make informed decisions. This retreat is not just about discussions, it is about action. I expect that at the end of this session, we will have a clear, practical, and implementable steps to enhancing audit efficiency, improve compliance, and elevate Nimasa's governance framework. Together, we can set a new standard of excellence in maritime governance and operational oversight. On this note, I declare the 2025 Internal Audit Retreat open and wish you all fruitful deliberation.
On behalf of the young ones here, we are very grateful for this opportunity to be able to learn, to be able to have a tete-a-tete, to be able to bond with our experienced auditors. We are using this opportunity to also let you know that we are going to make you proud. Thank you very much, sir, for the support, and we look forward to more engagements like this in the near future.
The retreat featured team-building activities like scavenger hunt, charades, morning aerobics, and karaoke, all of which encourage creativity, problem-solving, and teamwork. Additionally, the Falcon Brainstorming Challenge and opening exchange sessions provided opportunities to tackle audit dilemmas and explore innovative solutions for governance and risk management. Participants also benefited from technical and leadership training sessions, focusing on strategic teamwork and the future of the internal auditing.
In life, in social activities, at work, in an audit team, in games, at every point in time, there is a role you're expected to play. If you play that role well, it helps the team deliver.
There is personal leadership. That is you. You are managing self. You are a lone contributor. And there are people like that. There are functional leaders, like the head of audit. There are also informal leaders, people who influence without necessarily having a title. I recommend a book for you. You don't need a title to be a leader. Please read it.
The retreat recognized achievements like the Ultimate Scavenger Championships, Brainstorming Powerhouse, and Nimasa Blueprint for Greatness quiz winners.
I'm honored once again to be presenting the award, the Falcon Intelligence Award, to the Elite Avengers team.
Stand up. Okay, good.
The retreat was impactful, leaving attendees motivated and well-equipped to contribute to achieving the agency's mandates while helping to build trust and driving change.
Still on the program Nimasa this week, this is the UNSDG segment. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal plays a crucial role in the existence of human. On the program today, we shall be focusing on the third goal, which centers on good health and well-being. We shall have Mr. Taiwo Olajide, a Principal Maritime Labour Officer in Nimasa, explain to us the crucial role played by the maritime sector in Nigeria to achieve this goal. Stay tuned.
Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, where we're discussing the importance of these goals to our nation and our human life. Firstly, we discussed about no poverty, we've discussed no hunger or zero hunger, and now we're about to discuss good health and well-being. Stay tuned. My guest today on this segment is Taiwo Olajide, a Principal Maritime Labour Officer with Nimasa. Taiwo, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Femi, for having me on this segment. I appreciate it.
All right, once again, welcome to this segment of this program. In the last few weeks, we've been discussing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. As you may know, they were actually, enacted, or will I say enacted, or they were actually, brought in place to help to check certain things about human life, climate change, environment, and all of that. And every sector has a role to play in making this come to bear. In your own view, how do you think the maritime sector in Nigeria has been able to plug in into these sustainable development goals?
Thank you, Femi, for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. I want to respond to your question by saying that Nigeria, through Nimasa, have been able to key into the sustainable development goals properly. Because, the goals is beyond a specific goal that we will be talking about today, but encompasses talking about inequalities, poverty, how they can combat those things, climate change, then peace and justice and all of that. So if you look at from that perspective, you see that Nimasa, through Maritime Labour Service Department, have been able to key into the agenda.
Thank you for that response to the first questions. Yes, we all know that the maritime sector has lots of roles to play, in ensuring that these goals are achieved and attained in Nigeria. Now, on the build-up now, we've discussed no poverty, zero hunger. The third SDG looks at good health and well-being. How is the maritime sector, let me say specifically, the seafarers in the industry, what is Nimasa doing to ensure that their well-being is guaranteed and they have good health because of the kind of work that they do?
Talking about the well-being and safety of Sustainable Development Goal agenda, Nimasa has been able to key into this. We have a search and rescue center, which is a clinic that's recently been upgraded, and that is a facility to be able to attend to emergencies of the seafarers, in case anything happens. Then beyond that, there is a MLC 2006 convention that the agency enforces. This convention is about going on board to ensure that the seafarers are properly taken care of while they are working. We go on board, we ensure that where they live is quite neat and good, where the kind of food that they are given is good, the facilities for them to be able to work out and all of that, we ensure all those things are in place so that their well-being, their mental health can be well taken care of. So these are part of the thing that Nimasa is doing to ensure and key into these SDG goals. And then again, if you remember, during COVID-19, like you said, Nimasa designated seafarers as essential workers, and they were not bound by the traveling restriction. So these are part of the initiative that Nimasa is doing to key into the SDG agenda.
All right, thank you very much, Taiwo, once again. I know you've responded. I know Nimasa is doing a lot about seafarers' well-being. You talked about the COVID, how the agency was able to, sort them out, make sure that they were actually well, catered for. Now, still talking about these SDGs now. In the next few years, it is presumed that this regime of SDG is going to expire. What next after these SDGs? Thank you.
Yes, if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, before Sustainable Development Goals was Millennium Development Goals. So that is MDGs. So the Sustainable Development Goal came as a follow-up to the MDG. So now I'm so sure by 2030, when the Sustainable Development Goals elapses, there will be a fresh agenda, because the world cannot just be left in a disarray, not to have a work template to be able to achieve goals that will make us sustainable goals at the end of the day that will make human life better.
Thank you very much, viewers out there. You agree with me that Taiwo Olajide has done justice to these, questions, talking about good health and well-being, in line with the SDG 2030. It's a wrap on this segment, and I will look forward to seeing you again on the next segment. Thank you. I remain your host, Femi Kumuyi.
It's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on the Maritime Voyage today. Until next week when we bring you more maritime matters, fair winds and following seas.